To start this cooking video, I had my mom select a plate, a bowl, and a cooking utensil without telling her anything about this challenge. And these are the tools that she selected at random. To choose what I'd be making, I did a random number generator. And as you can see, I landed on number 2, which was making a fruit plate. So first, I decided to cut a strawberry using my tool. As I began cutting my strawberry with my tongs, I could tell that this was not the ideal tool to use when cutting a strawberry, but I had to make it work. And because the edges were kind of serrated, it made it a little bit easier. Not as easy as using the ideal tool, a knife, but I was able to make it work. The next fruit that I tried to cut was a grape, and the grape was a little bit harder to cut because of the skin. So when I was using the tongs, it didn't slice through the skin as easily as when I was cutting through the strawberry. And as I got to the last grape, you'll see that it was really not the ideal tool because it smushed my grape. So as you can see, I was trying to cut it and it just squished it, and I couldn't even use it on my fruit plate. The last fruit, which was the hardest to cut, was the nectarine. And I wasn't even able to cut it on the plate because the plate was moving around too much. So I had to cut it directly on the granite. And at first I tried to cut it using the side of the tong, but it wasn't going through. So I had to use the top of it, which was a little more pointy and made me able to slice into it a little bit easier. And then once I sliced through using the top, I was kind of able to use the side to cut it. This was very challenging, also because my plate was not ideal as well, but I had to be flexible and adapt. When I finally arranged the fruit, I was actually pretty happy with how it looked. Here's a better close-up of me trying to cut the nectarine. As you see, when I was first using the side, I could not cut through it at all. But because the side was already cut through, it was a lot softer on the inside and it made it a lot easier to cut. How this relates to being in the classroom is sometimes you're not always given the best access to technology or supplies to best meet the needs of your students. So you have to use what you're given to be flexible and adapt to your surroundings. So sometimes you have to be creative and use tools in new ways that you might not have originally thought you would use the tool for. So that is a little bit of how I would connect what I learned to this challenge.